This week on BlazerTag, preseason recap, who impressed this week, and special guest announcement.
Yeah. It's like a porno. Hey, and we are here with the BlazerTag podcast, and sitting next to me is the man.
The myth, the lish. Oh.
The beer bet winner.
Yes!
Again, 2 for 2.
Yes.
Can you tell this man has a gambling addiction?
Yeah, well, clearly I'm good at picking things. And honestly, like, it doesn't matter if I go for first or last, I still manage to pull a win. I feel weird just saying my Horus Harkless. That just seems weird and degrading.
It's a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the bright side, I mean, you did win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a come-from-behind victory, if there was ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking like I was going to win the first game, and even the second game, let's not lie. Swanigan, game of his life, game 1, against the Suns, where we somehow lost. But then we won the next 2.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
There are babies nearby. And there's a baby who is upset about what happened for the rest of Swanigan's week.
Yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't injuries, though.
Honestly, it couldn't get any worse than Turner's week. Sorry.
It's all right. I had high hopes that the man could figure out that dribble spin move. He let me down. That last game where I almost came out with negative points, 6 points, 5 turnovers. I buried my head in the sand, and I was at the beer store texting you, Brandon, saying, "So what do you want again?"
Yeah.
So on that note, I do have your winnings right here. Once again, another fresh squeezed IPA.
Fresh squeeze. Honestly, this is feeding into either an addiction or a pleasure. So I mean, honestly, it goes hand in hand.
I was going to say, I think it's column A and column B.
Yeah. So guys, again, I love winning, but I love
meeting
sharing.
starts at 9 after the show.
I love sharing. No meeting. But let's go ahead and recap why I won. So ultimately, Green over here took Swanigan to, and again, how we measured this was points minus turnovers. So if your player
wasn't for that last
if your player shot 10 points and had 3 turnovers, they earned 7 points for that game. So with that said, we had Harkless up top with 27 overall points. Again,
I love that you made a spreadsheet for this. Just for the record.
I made a spreadsheet.
He texted us a picture of said spreadsheet.
Yes, I make spreadsheets for everything.
Where was the pie graph?
Yeah,
you
can populate that.
It made my day.
No, we have Swanigan, who took 21 points, and at the far last, we have Turner, because of his abysmal game against LA, or the Clippers, with 15 points. Sorry, witty, Jamie.
I was sitting, I believe, in a solid second place up until that Clippers game.
Yeah. First. In that order. I love pulling in a last-minute win.
Yeah.
But guys,
well, I mean, kudos to Harkless for his performance that game. But
at least he was
get
consistent.
into that.
Yeah. So this beer will be, there's 6 beers here, plus our beers. This will be consumed by the end of this show. By all of us.
I already had 3 shots of liquor before we got started.
Well, that's your own fault for pre-funking without us.
The shot of the week,
he had a Manhattan, and I offered you one too.
And I made the smart choice so that my wife won't hate me later and said no.
Yes, for the record, he did say no.
You hear that, honey? It is possible for me to turn down alcohol. It's a once-in-a-blue-moon thing, but it is humanly possible.
Well, it was bourbon, and bourbon's every so often favorite. So, if you liked bourbon more, like a real man, instead of watery Hefeweizen.
If bourbon starts putting hair on my head instead of hair on my chest, maybe I'll think about it.
Listen, women love a hairy chest.
Yes. Well, I already have that. That's why I want the hair on the head thing.
And I've got plenty of that. See, actually, at this angle, you can thoroughly see my hard part.
We do not want to see any of your hard parts.
On audio, Brandon was talking about his hard part, and we did his pants pulled up, but we're going right back into the show here. So, what was coming up next post beer bet on our agenda, gentlemen?
So I think what we should do is talk about, obviously, the excitement of the week for preseason. So let's go ahead and recap the Phoenix, Toronto, and Clippers game that happened this week. So clearly, I benefited the most from it because I have a tangible prize. But you know what? We learned a lot about
We're going to end this winning streak right here.
Yeah, we're going to have to. Yeah. Can I just say that we all, I don't even remember if it came up on the episode, but I'm pretty sure we were all of the shared opinion. The game we were most likely to win was going to be the Phoenix game that we lost. And if we were going to lose the other two games, it could have been either one of those. Yeah. And no, we handed it to the Clippers. And it was pretty handily our game against
I'm just going to say that pretty much sums up Blazer fandom. Like, you think something is going to happen, and the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But however, especially in the last, any time since Brandon Roy, that's basically been the way this works.
Mm-hmm. But you watched that game against Phoenix, and you saw a really good game, and then you saw a really terrible last part of the game, and then a really good, 45 seconds where we just took control again and just fell short.
Now, the one thing I will give them is that Stotts came out pregame, I believe, earlier in the day's practice, and said, we did not game plan for Phoenix. We did not run sets for Phoenix. We haven't looked at jack squat that Phoenix is doing. I just want to roll the ball out there and see what these guys can do outside of a practice facility mentality. No scrimmage games, no nothing. And so for that, for not preparing for an opponent at all and getting a lot of these guys, especially the training camp invites, their first real live NBA action, I was not disappointed. It was a loss, but I was not disappointed.
Oh, yeah. And Swanigan, I think that's clearly the type of game that suits him best. Between that and then that's basically how Summer League works, too.
Mm-hmm.
He is very much a go out and play and be a baller player. Mm-hmm. And he showed it in the Suns game. Once you put him into sets and actual plays, he still did fine in the other two games. But compared to where he looked like, rookie of the year, huh? It's just not as much the other two games.
Yeah.
But still, he's a baller. He's a player.
The one thing I was interested to see, Lillard only getting the 15 minutes, McCollum getting the full run, 34 minutes, but Lillard being the most productive person on the court at any given point in time. 15 minutes, 18 points. A trend that I will touch on later is a little bit of shot distribution amongst the big three, but Lillard has popped out so far in full-on, post All-Star break, I'm pissed at the world for him.
Yeah, I was digging it up, and it looked like CJ is actually leading the team in minutes, but if you look at the stats, he's not a non-factor, but you compare him to Dame's production, or you look at a lot of the other guys who are
production
up and coming.
Yeah. Dame in game one damn near doubled him up on points in half the amount of minutes.
Yeah, we had Damon Swanigan tied for first with 18 points, and Nurk for 16. That's sweet 16.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that I did notice, and that I was curious if it was going to carry over, was Nurk's rebounds, or not rebounds. Sorry, Nurk's assists. I may have been a little accustomed to Plumlee being the high assist man from last season, passing out of the post. Okay, not necessarily Nurk's forte.
I don't know, he had a good chunk of those during his run last season.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's a huge assist guy, but he demands some attention, so when they send the double, he's definitely had a couple good passes. I don't know if I saw any, though, in the last 3 games.
No, in those 3 games last week, he averaged less than 1 assist.
Sounds about right. This is the part where I get to confess my sadness. Between the unaired game on Sunday...
Again, folks, this is why I say, always bring a
casually.
lighter. Always bring a lighter. No, I'm calling you out on it. And I'm not going to spill it, but you can still hold it.
Whitledge is our resident beer opener.
Between the unaired game on Sunday, and then because I haven't set up my cable stuff for the season, the only chunk of game I watched was about a quarter and a half of that Toronto game at the back end, the third and fourth quarters. And but really, I didn't see anything interesting from Nurkic.
I have no qualms about saying that the only one of those 3 games that I did watch was the Toronto game. Tail end of the game gets a little blurry, but I did. Hey, shout out to the godmom Terry. I did watch the game over at her house, and she does like to partake in what she calls her 3-point shot, in which she takes a shot for every 3-pointer the Blazers make. Kind of sucks when they're a very prolific 3-point team.
How does she walk?
Yeah, that's impressive.
I mean, her husband carries her to the bed at the tail end of the games, but
is she calling in sick to work the next day?
No, she's retired now.
Oh,
I was just saying,
but she's done this for the last 2 seasons, and this is her first season of retirement.
Terry, you have a liver of steel.
That is actually a hell of a way to.
If I was wearing a hat, I would tip my hat to your liver strength. Honestly, I mean, we're going to do shot of the week, and I'm going to about lose my mind with the shot. I don't take shots well. I'm going to turn in my man card right now in advance because I know that I'm
when
going
did
to
I get it back to you?
Yeah. No, but for me, I watched all the games except for the Clippers. I do a lot of I followed Twitter for the Clippers game.
Nobody watched the Clippers game. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, but I'm saying but overall with the Phoenix, it was a good shot. We had 41% from the field, 30% from the three, and we had 81% in the line. Not really impressive stats. Sadly, we lost 114 to 112, and we can close the books in that game because let's move on to some winning games. Raptors, Blazers.
I'm just going to tip my hat to you, kind sir, with Anthony Morrow. You want to talk about a man that wants to earn a rotation spot, 4 of 5 off the bench, and all of them being from three-point land.
The other two games, not as much.
No.
That game,
yes.
Yeah.
Bouncing off for 12 points in 8 minutes? That is rather good showing.
And realistically, that's what I want him for. I want him to be a guy who comes out, shoots a bunch of threes, especially on nights when Dame or CJ is hot, and when they start sending doubles, because then you rest either of those guys, throw Morrow out there, and then when the double goes to the one, there's Morrow open for the three, and now they have to leave the other guy back alone. And
I want to say 3 of his 4 made three-pointers were from alternating corners. So he's shown that hey, I'm not just this side of the court. You got to respect me anywhere I'm at on the line, and that does bode well for if they're zeroing in on Dame and CJ.
Yeah, the way I discovered Morrow wasn't from watching him play. It was the first year I ever did fantasy basketball. I think it was his rookie year. And I just kept needing a guy who was able to get me 3 so I could just narrowly beat people because that was my most inconsistent but right there category. And I kept picking him up off the waiver wire, and eventually I'm like, I'm going to have to actually watch this guy play. And I've always just been a fan of his shooting more than anything else.
Didn't Dame make comment that when before he was even in the NBA, he saw him with the Warriors, and he was like, man, who is that guy?
Yeah.
During his record shooting game. And honestly, when it comes down to the argument of Briscoe and Morrow for the 15 spot, we'll go into this later. I don't really think it's an issue. You have veteran experience over
how about we go into that right now? Let's pause the game review real quick. Let's just have that conversation.
We'll jump ahead. Way to just make us all scroll down in our...
so I mean, realistically, because it's a matter of 3 choices, right? So you've got Morrow, you got Briscoe, and everybody else is ultimately nobody because nobody else has really produced consistently.
That and Stotts hasn't rolled anybody else other than Morrow out for more than garbage time minutes. If in any of the other 2 games, minus the Clippers game, they maybe saw 45 seconds of action.
And ergo,
honestly, everyone's getting time out there, but I mean, it depends on the quality of the time.
We're likely to start seeing waivers probably by today's the day. We're gonna have the Kings game starting shortly.
Side note, that's how dedicated we are to this, folks. We're actually now respecting the DVR and bringing the show to you instead of watching the Kings game live.
In a related note.
However, I have picture right here, so I can actually watch it.
No, he's not.
It's literally stats.
That's a lie. One side of his computer is stats. The other side is boobs.
No, it's power rankings. One could argue that's boobs.
Well, the bottom of the power rankings are the boobs. So, anyhow, I don't know. For me, it's Morrow or nobody. None of the rest of the guys are that interesting to me, and I'd almost rather have an empty roster slot for trading, moving things around.
I agree. You know how adamant I've been about keeping the roster spot open, luxury tax purposes, freeze up, just that little bit of room come the trade deadline and all that. But seeing that game, if he can duplicate that at any other point in time this week, sometime before the regular season, I do agree that man deserves regular rotation minutes and a contract. Well, and a guaranteed contract. Because it's a non-guaranteed as it stands right now.
But let's be clear, though. We're referring to the Raptors game, which he didn't perform in the Phoenix game and for the Clippers game. So with that, I mean, that's where there's an argument now. And I've heard this being buzzed around. There's an argument that Briscoe is coming through and, kind of competing heavily for that 15 spot. I don't personally think so. Personally, I think you're always going to... I mean, whether or not you had a bad game or a good game, it's preseason. Also, you have to account for the veteran status. He's a veteran. In my books, he's a veteran.
Yeah.
And, I mean...
What's he got, 13 years in the league or something like that?
No, not that long.
Yeah.
I thought he's at least hit double digits, I'm pretty sure.
And
Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure he's got double digits.
I want to say he's at least 10 years, but...
He's about 10, I want to say. I'm sure there's some magical internet device in front of one of you guys that we can pull
Be on it.
But like Briscoe, you got to look at his games. Against the Suns, he had 8 points. He fell short with 2 points against the Raptors, and he had 5 points against the Clippers. He's very steady Eddie, and he's producing relatively consistent results, again, in the middle of the field. But, again, as far as the backup's concerned, I don't really care about middle of the field. I'd like to have a really solid backup. And I really think that Morrow's got that spot.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, if you get Briscoe, what you get is a project who's going to give you a couple garbage time minutes. What you get with Morrow is you get a tool in your Swiss Army knife. He's not a Swiss Army knife player. He's not a guy who's going to give you a bunch of different things. He's going to be a guy where when you need more threes, that's where we go. When everybody else is cold.
So don't tell my wife that I'm admitting that I'm wrong, but yes, he is under single digits. He went undrafted in 2008 and walked onto the Warriors, and then spent 2 years on the Warriors.
Oh,
so he's been
that was the 08-09 season, right?
Yeah. Well, he was there from when he walked on was 08-09, but he was there until 2010.
And that's where I discovered him.
And Blazers are his 8th team.
So this will be his 10th year. 17-18.
So was
theoretically,
ninth
real year.
Yeah, ninth year. It won't be his 10th till next year, but that does get you vet status in the league.
Right. Okay, so with that said, we can go right back on track to our recaps because it does tie into the Raptors game. Morrow, tied Nurk for 12 points in that game. McCollum had 15 and Dame had 16 points. It wasn't like a fantastic shooting game for all the players. But everyone is putting out consistent numbers.
It was a good group effort, and I've got to say, damn, Dame looks good right now.
Yeah. Oh,
Dame looks so good right now. Every
Whenever,
time I see him, every highlight, even just random plays.
If that man putting out an album in the offseason, instead of like doing basketball things, if he needs to spend time in a studio to come back and play this kind of basketball, put out an album every single year, Dame.
And so far he has.
And also, we're still waiting on our shirts.
Yes.
Oh, man. In a related note, have you guys seen the new Dame shoes?
Yeah, and I've also listened to the album like 1,000 times.
I have not seen the shoes.
I haven't done the album yet. The shoes are the best looking ones he's done so far.
Yeah, I'm going to put a pair of shoes. I'm going to try to figure out a way to put the shoes in the video right there.
Yes.
Somewhere around here.
Why do I always feel like whenever you're pointing at things, you're pointing at your crotch? Related note, audio listeners, he's pointing at his crotch.
Yeah, but
he has shoes.
Again, he has the most.
I am man-spreading.
He has the most aggressive man-spreading out of all of us. We're doing at least the one knee up thing.
Yeah, but I'm also in the center, so how can I not man-spread here? I have to man-spread evenly. I got knee over here to green and
we'd be fine with your man-spreading if you just stopped touching yourself, though.
Well, where else is the beer gonna go? But honestly, don't be jealous of my man-spreading stance. Just because you guys have to have one knee up, and I have to hunch over. I'm so tall. I got beautiful hair. It's weighing my head down. It is what it is. I digress. Let's talk about Raptors.
I'm glad we don't throw insults anyway.
The Raptors game was a fun watch.
Yeah.
I came in halfway through because I think we were on a group text thread, and you guys were making it sound so good that I had to find a stream. And it turns out, for some reason, that was streamed for free on YouTube. I really hope that wasn't someone doing it illegally, but Xbox suggested it. So
well, there you go. It's
Samsung Smart TV.
And that's. Oh, I was gonna say if it's Xbox, that's Microsoft. We go back to Paul Allen. He wanted it. The one thing I will say about the Raptors game. So did everybody else have a heart attack with Nurk coming up limping?
No. Honestly,
I'm sorry. I think I wet myself when that happened because I'm like, please, God, no, don't break a center.
I'm pretty sure I had at least 4 beers up to that point, and I was probably so numb to it. I was kind of like,
see, I was sober when that happened. I actually think that inspired my drinking the rest of the night. And so they didn't trot him back out there and give a healthy status update until after halftime. At which point in time, I was already,
I was watching. I just saw the clip,
But honestly, though, the Raptors-Blazers game was, in my opinion, the first game of the season. From the get-go, 10 points out of the gate, our foot was heavily on the throttle. We didn't let down until the game ended. We won 106 to 101.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Have you ever ridden a motorcycle before?
Yes, I have. Yeah. Throttle, gas, pedal, whatever you want to say. Either way, as far
Vehicle
as...
go
Mixed
fast.
metaphors.
Yeah, as far as the stats were concerned, 42% from the field, 40% threes from the three line, and we had 88.9% from the free throw.
And Caleb Swanigan owing his first check to the NBA for his technical foul for going at it with Serge Ibaka, which that makes me very happy because Serge Ibaka, I think he's reached the respected veteran status of the NBA, especially with how much of the enforcer he was when he was on the Thunder.
Well,
so for Swanigan being the rookie to just get right up in his grill.
It's the whole go to prison and find the biggest guy in the prison yard and punch him in the face the first day.
Because Dame even made a comment in the postgame of that saying, that is what we need. We've spent, I don't know how many years talking about the fact that we're tough guys and we're whatever, and then we get on the court and we're like, can I open the door for you? Do you need need a towel? I mean, I'll go get you a glass of water. So to see somebody actually go up there and back up the tough guy talk.
It's really hard to be like, listen, we're tough. Don't make me go get Myers. It's just a name. Just having a guy named Myers, or for that matter, Pat. In a related note, Pat Connaughton, looking pretty good
In one game.
Well,
I'm high on Pat Connaughton, but in one game.
Yeah, he did. Well, he had one game, but he had a highlight or two. Actually, I think he's had a highlight in every game. Mind you, I'll highlight. I could be mistaken on that, but I feel like I've seen him across everything.
Yeah.
Like, not necessarily being good in all of them. Might have been that he made one shot in one of the games, and that just happened to be one really pretty shot.
So, how much time do we want to devote to that ass kicking that was the Clippers game, where I was kind of concerned until that absolute explosion in the second quarter?
Yeah, I'm gonna blow my my one swear word of the night on this there. So let's just go ahead and pull it out here. Dame 35 points, unbelievable beast mode. McCollum 20, and my man Harkless, who saved my beer bet of the week with 16 points.
In that game.
Holla. So the first quarter was pretty, like, all right, this is going to be a competitive game. And the Blazers were like, fuck this shit. Yeah, I'm going to put that right there. Fuck this shit. In writing, because the Blazers just put the pedal to the metal.
Explicit content.
Yeah, pedal to the metal, and the game took way off. Ultimately, we had 52.9 from the field, 46.4 from the three, 81.6 from the line. Honestly, with those kind of stats, there is 0% chance that the Blazers don't make at least the fourth seed in the West.
For half a second, I forgot it was the preseason. So I think going into the fourth quarter, I texted to both of you and said, so Dame going for 50, completely forgetting that these games mean dick squat.
Oh, yeah.
And then Dame has
Yeah.
earned his seat on the bench right now. But also, for that game, if anybody wasn't aware that Terry Stotts was going to be tinkering with lineups, third starting lineup in 3 games.
In a related note, Caleb Swanigan the starter on that one.
Again, you heard it here first, folks.
No, you heard it here first.
No,
I've been proclaiming this.
We both have.
Okay.
Green's the outlier on this. He says he has to earn it, but has he been doing his part to earn it?
He did in the first one, the other two, he's been good. Were it me and I still awarding things, honestly, I like guys with chips on their shoulder. I would give it to Ed Davis and make Swanigan earn it over the course of the first couple months of the year.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can't just gift a rookie a starting role. I do understand the need to earn it, but
at what point do you want to sacrifice a solid season with just proving your rookies?
No, we're well past the developmental, but we're not marching 4 rookies out there. This is inserting one rookie into the starting lineup to give him a chance to gel.
And Ed Davis looks damn good too out there.
How I have missed me some Ed Davis. That man had some solid
Blazers.
That shoulder last year, I had no idea how bad it was hurting him, except that it was there was a tangible step down, but you can always ask the question, was he more motivated? Is he now? No,
and I think all of those doubts have been erased from everyone's mind.
No, he's
the one thing with Harkless in that game, and this kind of it ties into my want for Swanigan to start. I think Crabbe the last couple of years had the 6-man role per se.
Mm-hmm.
Harkless,
6 man.
the most near the tail end.
Not a problem.
Good news. He missed the first 2 games with Brooklyn. His last game, he impressed with apparently like 17 points in 20 minutes. So hopefully he does well, just not against us.
How do you not do well in a Brooklyn system?
Hey, I'm just throwing it out there. Granted, everybody in the East is resting anybody that's being paid more than like $4 million a year.
Yeah.
Brooklyn is currently sitting in preseason standings number 1 in the East. That is the only... I'm fairly certain Brooklyn will give themselves a freaking banner come the regular season debut based off this.
They're going to retire Crabs.
Anyways, I digress. Harkless, to me, is, if he's not in the starting lineup, I think he is a very solid 6-man option. Off the bench, over Turner, over Aminu, depending on what they're going to do in the 3, I think Harkless is proving himself to be a solid 6-man option.
Yeah, Turner killed his chance of being a starter this season. I mean, honestly, at least for the beginning.
And my chance of winning beer. Thank you, Turner.
No, Turner, honestly, like, if you're listening, Turner, by chance, I doubt it. But you know what, though? If you're listening, I love you. I have a lot of hope in you. Not as much as...
Thank you for signing my hat.
Not a lot of Myers hope. I'm at my last season with Myers, but I'm not...
I'm at my last season.
I feel like Turner's been good in flashes so far, but he has...
The turnover tenacity.
Turner to me is like
that last game really kind of hurt.
Yeah.
I had more hope after 2 games. And mind you, it's really small sample size, right? So
we're judging on things that don't matter to any of these players in the long run.
No.
They're just shaking off the roster.
Is it just me, though, guys? Does Turner remind you of Batum?
No, because Batum had the youthful promise constantly. Turner is an established vet. He proved himself in Boston. What he needs to do now is prove himself in the West Coast version of that system. And I think Turner, when he was in Boston, was used a lot as a number 1, possibly number 2 option. He's having to take a lot now to be a number 3 option, or, as I don't necessarily see him being used properly, but what'll probably happen is being the distributor with Dame and CJ playing off the ball. I think Stotts wants to march somebody else out there.
He does a little bit of that.
Yeah, Stotts is looking to march somebody out there that can run a point forward
I think he'll
and have Dame and CJ run the wings.
Shabazz is going to occupy more of those points, I think, more of that time.
But with Shabazz being hurt right now in the preseason, we can't judge.
Yeah, but I'm saying, though, I think long term, I think Shabazz actually occupies more of the second line.
No, I agree. Because
Turner does.
Shabazz has a lot better shooting percentage than Turner.
I don't think it's going to happen for a while. Still.
I'm
Shabazz. I feel like
folks,
Shabazz...
you heard it here first. Swanigan starting and Shabazz occupying more time than Turner.
You mean my number 5?
I think you guys are also, forgetting that there are some humans making these decisions, and there's this thing called the sunk cost fallacy, which is where you look at Turner and you're like, yeah, but I'm paying this guy. And you look at Shabazz and you're like,
and our financial expert, ladies and gentlemen.
So I'm willing to bet that, in order for Shabazz to overtake Evan Turner, realistically, he can't just be slightly better, which, mind you, Shabazz hasn't even played, right?
That's why I said we can't determine it now. It's all conjecture.
This is true.
So realistically, it can't just be a thing of like, well, Evan Turner hasn't been that good. Yeah, but who's better? Who's taking it from him? And is Shabazz taking it from him? Hasn't yet. Will he? I doubt it. Realistically, I doubt that throughout any time in this season, there will be a stretch of 5 straight games where Shabazz plays more minutes than Evan Turner.
So the last little touch on this bit of recap. Is anybody optimistic so far about the defense? Because, we've all dreaded the defense. And I will maintain, CJ and Dame, if they've made an improvement, it's like the world's tiniest improvement.
It's micro.
But everybody else on the team around him, Nurk in the center, demanding, they're slagging down off the pick and rolls. He's challenging people to run at him. But is anybody else finding themselves optimistic about the defense? Do you think it'll be better than the last couple of years?
No, so actually I have an argument for this. So Nurk has actually been kind of underwhelming in defense. Like, granted, he's been putting up decent rebounds. Actually,
maybe it's the glare from that mask.
Zach Collins, however, has been actually impressing me with his defense.
This is true. That man did.
So I actually think
I have hope in Collins.
Yeah,
I'm developing a little bit more faith over time.
Yeah, I do think maybe the Summer League games did not allow him to properly showcase his skill set. Because you're marched out there with subpar talent, people that'll never sniff an NBA court in their life. So being out there with better players, maybe does raise his game a
Well,
bit.
and I think I mentioned earlier that whole Swanigan thing, that Swanigan clearly is a guy who does a lot better in an improv situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
He does a lot better when maybe there's plays drawn up, but there's a lot more room. He's a lot better at jazz, whereas you can just hand Collins the ball, and maybe he's not going to do anything. Maybe he's useless. But if he knows, okay, you stand at this spot, then you rotate over there to draw your guy over, and then you make a third move, I think he's a lot better at remembering that.
And Gonzaga's always been a good, solid X's and O's fundamentals kind of basketball team. So coming from that system, that kind of that helps him.
I think he's I don't know that he's going to be anything more than a backup rotation player for this season.
This season, yeah.
Further down the road, though, I have hope. I feel like he actually, he can play. I don't look at him the way I look at Myers, which is like, I think it could happen. Except, no. Okay, real quick, tangenting here. Myers?
Don't jump ahead. We got a whole.
Okay,
let's
keep rolling. We'll come back
So
to it.
we're
We'll
gonna
come
jump.
back.
We're gonna venture into happier territory here.
Not quite yet. I got one more thing to add. One more thing to add
Is it
before
gonna
we
be
go.
depressing?
One more Zach Collins.
No more Zach Collins. One more thing to add before we go to shot of the week. And again, shot of the week. Prepare to embarrass yourself. Prepare for me to embarrass myself. And probably Green.
God, you're already cut off.
Yeah. So here's the thing though. Is that actually I think Swanigan, the best thing that we could have done to him, or the system could have done to him, is put him in 26th spot in the first round. I think he thrives on adversity, and he needed to prove himself. If he was put out at in the first top 10, I don't think he'd be playing as well.
No,
I honestly don't.
Probably not.
I think he's got a chip on his shoulder and he's something to prove.
And
I think he would have been better being in the second round.
And for a little bit
maybe
for a little bit of proof on what I'm going to view as Swanigan's humbleness and desire to prove himself. Every year at the beginning of the year, I go down to the practice facility, which I sent you guys.
Oh yeah, show us your hat.
The hat's in the other room. I came unprepared.
Oh.
But no. So I went down to the practice facility last Thursday. Oh, really?
I'm bringing it up.
It's unsigned and half of them are dead.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I went down to the practice facility last Thursday before the Raptors game. And spent a good solid hour down there, and I got 14 of the confirmed roster spots autographed on a hat. A lot of people are always miffed by how easy it is. I'm not going to tell you my secrets. I'm not going to give you the location. You can figure it out yourself if you're dedicated enough. It's super easy. Go get all your crap autographed. But
honestly, if you're curious, just comment in the comment section,
and I'll probably tell you.
And he'll probably respond.
Yeah, and we can all go down there together. I mean, you buy me food or you buy me beer. I'll tell you how it happens.
Really, buying him beer is a pretty easy route to almost anything you want.
He's a very basic man.
Yeah, there's basic white girl status. There's also basic witty status. And beer is it. But anyways, Pat, I love you, man, but you didn't have to just speed your car past everybody at 72 miles an hour. But Caleb Swanigan, to backtrack and get on point here, I did not realize that he walks. And so the first time I ever encountered this kind of thing was about 5-6 years ago. And I want to say it was the Armand Johnson year.
Mm-hmm.
But those tail end rookies don't necessarily buy cars, and they're all staying in a hotel right around the block. So they walk from the practice facility, throw their hoodie up, tie it up to where you're only seeing their eyes or whatnot, and wander down the street. So Caleb Swanigan was one of the first people to leave, which in my mind, I'm going, why is rookie going first? I thought it was one of the throwaway people. I had talked to another person there. They're like, oh, that's Archie Goodwin. I was like, okay, I'm not going to chase him down. Tail end of it, I'm like, all right, so looking at the security guard. When Swanigan coming out? Oh, he was the first to leave. Oh, son of a bitch. I'm going to chase that man down the street, which I have done before to a player, and it was Armand Johnson. You want to catch a guy off guard, you chase him down in the street when he's trying to be nonchalant. But anyways, I'll go back.
Armand Johnson, nice guy, though.
I'll go back there at some point in time over the course of the season and get those last 2 autographs. If they fill that 15th roster spot, if it is Morrow, I'll get him on the hat. But I got team autograph gear since 2008, running my system. So
yeah, this guy's legit. Yeah, he gets him. He gets the signatures for sure.
And you can buy his book on how to do it for just
How to do it.
$19.99.
No, I will not do that because
Secrets now.
there was a little short, stubby, really fat guy that was down there that had a box of
Are we
things.
fat shaming in this show now? Come on.
You got your computer in front of you. Nobody can see that.
The webcam's
But ouch.
So
That was a low blow.
But no, he was sitting
Not
down
below
there
the
and he
belt,
had a
above it.
box of stuff, and I have every single player that came out ignored him because he apparently has been there every single day for like the last season and a half because he hawks their gear. And you're not gonna, if you go down there to get things signed to hawk it, you're not gonna get respect from players. If you're down there purely as a fan for love of the team, love of the game,
Yep, 100%.
they will respect you. You're not gonna get respect just flooding the market with autograph crap.
Yeah.
But not to say it's crap,
Alright.
but you.
All right.
And
Speaking of which, real
showing
fast,
off his toy.
I'm bringing a new thing to our little fake studio here.
I thought you were bringing
For
your
those of you
Pogs.
listening on audio,
Those
he's
aren't Pogs.
holding up a picture frame on cardboard with Pog-looking circular pictures of a bunch of guys, and it's the 25th anniversary all-time team featuring some of the greats from 1970 all the way to 1990.
Yeah, and so side note, did it come from Dairy Queen?
Yes. So this came from Dairy Queen. These are the Dairy Queen.
There's the tie-in.
This is the Dairy Queen Pog set that I
This
cherish.
segment brought to you not by Dairy Queen.
Yeah, not by Dairy Queen. But yeah, so for those of you watching, like, you know, you can see my Pog set, which would be on set, but I love
Or
this
you
thing.
can see a picture of a net.
Some of them are peeling, but either way. With that said, awkward transition and guaranteed to make the show even more fun is Shot of the Week.
Oh, man. And that sure happened in the Clippers game, did it not?
It did. It was about, I can't remember if it was tail end of the first quarter or beginning of the second quarter, but
I'm going to be distributing shots at this point while they're talking.
for me, this is the first Damian Lillard circus shot of the year.
It was a beautiful shot. Really.
This man, he's crossing him over. He goes full cross court. Starts on the top of the arc, left hand side of the court. Breaks his man down on the dribble, and just ends up throwing it at the basket. You guys will see this, depending on his editing skills. Possibly.
Editing will happen. It's gonna you'll see the picture either there or there.
So
And
you're
now
cutting
we're
off our
all
heads.
watching.
Oh, it'll happen. Or there or there.
For those of you listening on audio, we're gonna watch a shot right here, and then we're going to drink. And here goes.
But no, he jukes out his man. All right, we'll wait for the full replay on this.
Whitledge has best eye shot of this video.
Yes. So there's Dame. Top of the key, breaks his man down, comes cross court, ends up on the right side of the court,
Here's the slow-mo.
fakes 3 defenders out, and does one of those prayer and a wing, throw it at the basket, and one.
Off the backboard.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
And honestly, though, I wanted to see a solid Nurk 3 for this shot, but sadly
The man bricked all his
we didn't get any
threes.
Nurk 3s to celebrate. So when that happens, we'll take shots for that. But you know what?
I think if Nurk makes a 3, I'm just going to throw it out here. And this is mostly as a ding to you, because neither of us think that he should be taking 3s.
Oh, no,
If
no,
Nurk
no.
makes, for Nurk's first made 3, we automatically make that a shot of the week, and we do a double.
Oh God!
You know what? I will agree to that because let's not lie. It's first of all, Myers Leonard. When he did the thing that Nurk did of I've been working on my 3 this offseason, I wanted to kill him, and it's only worse for Nurk, except that he showed up playing hard and playing his normal game. It's just every once in a while we have to deal with this play where he's like, surprise, I'm out on the outside.
I'm just going to throw it out there. No center will ever be better than Sean Marks. Best center, Blazer 3-point shooting percentage, franchise history.
Sean Marks.
1 of 1, 100%.
You know, my personal favorite was there was this one drawn-up play out of a timeout where Marcus Camby hit a 3. He was wide open, and it looked
Well, I mean, that man's wind-up. He has 37 seconds to iron in his shot.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, you looked at the way it was set up, and it looked like, oh, yeah, they're just passing it to him to inbound, and then it was just it was one of those that went in, and literally, everyone on the court, including other Blazers, looking at him like, really?
When was that in your repertoire? Anyways, so to bring this back, Dame, thank you for bringing us our
Dame,
first shot of the week.
Damian
This is
Lillard.
for you.
Shot of the week.
All right. Where's my chaser?
Shot of the week.
Yeah.
Give me the face. Give me the face.
I can't do it.
See, that's why
Ladies and gentlemen, you will get used to that face by the end of the season. For those of you
right
on
there.
audio,
Oh my God, I can't eat shots.
if you've ever seen a grown man kicked in the nuts, that is the face he just made.
Yeah, it is pretty impressive. I mean, I generally am not a fan of doing shots. That's why, those two did a shot of vodka. I went with rum because...
No, me and
I like
151 have a complete hate-hate relationship. I did a lot of underage drinking, and it was doing nothing but shots of 151. And so I can't even see the bottle in the liquor store without getting the gag reflex kicking in.
For me, I was just like, "Hi, Captain Morgan."
No. I know my happy place. I know my lane. Leave me with my beer. This is my one shot of alcohol I will ever
Are you
take.
chasing it with water?
No, I already chased it with a beer, but now I'm out of beer and I'm taking a drink of
Well,
water.
I have beer right here.
Well, that's over there, and I didn't want to awkwardly reach.
Well, yeah.
I'm still going to take a sip of the water.
But you can always ask.
If there's one thing that happens a lot around here, it's awkward reaches.
Yes.
Speaking of reaches...
And you can probably pop this one up. You know,
Dear
honestly,
Lord, man, come prepared.
I'm honestly probably going to be drunk by the end of the show. Because
Yeah, but I'm surprised you didn't show up drunk, because isn't your best friend in town?
Yeah.
And didn't you guys go hopping around? I mean, I saw the picture of your breakfast that you had.
Yeah, we had Pine State Biscuits, fantastic. Yesterday we played
Biscuits.
putt-putt golf at Glowing Greens. Super exciting downtown.
Not on
Not
his screen.
sponsored.
No.
No, Glowing Greens.
No.
You should really...
No pun intended.
No, I am not glowing.
No, putt intended.
Ooh,
Well, if it was mini golf, I
Mini
think
golf
every
puns.
putt was intended.
I was going for an awkward dad pun. Leave me alone.
You were going. So, hey, guys. So who are we playing this week?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So
Are we? Did I skip too far
So
ahead?
Green's already drunk. So
Probably.
So,
So, you know-
what you get for all those Manhattans or whatever the heck
I haven't
had one Manhattan.
It was very heavily poured. I saw it.
I have a better
Well,
idea.
that's a Manhattan. It's 2 shots of bourbon, 1 shot of vermouth, 2 dashes of bitters.
Yeah, but
That's
when you
not
put
my
it in a
fault that
32-ounce
all
glass
those
and fill it
things-
up. No.
Hey, it was a big cherry.
And you can hire Green for all your...
Actually, this is the part where I have to cut and interrupt and say, according to my compliance officer, I am not allowed to mention what it is that I do on this podcast or get into specific financial advice, but I think by saying that, you get a clue what I do.
Ding! I'll make sure there's a ding when he goes like this.
You can't ding when I call you the rest of you guys out on your misspeaks.
I'll ding now. So, hey guys, I got a quick question. Quick question. I'm sure
The quickest.
the quickest of questions.
He says with the longest buildup of all time.
So, yeah,
We're going to go roundtable on this. I'll start.
Yeah,
And then,
so this week, though, honestly, who would you say stood out the most this week? And also, who would you say stood out the least this week?
So my stood out the most, Swanigan. I mean, that,
Of course.
everybody, lack of a surprise right there. Quiet room, crickets inserted here. But outside of Swanigan, Morrow. And that was just because of his game against the Raptors, knocking down a 3-point shot. If he can bring more of that, I am massively excited. Everybody else kind of stayed within their lane for me, didn't excel or exceed expectations. Who stood out the least? Myers Leonard.
Do you play?
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna take it away. I'm gonna take it away from everybody. But I gotta say, man, when you get the garbage minutes at the tail end of a route, and that is the only action you see in a game,
And you still screw that up?
All I gotta say, dude, is just go straight up. Just arms straight up. Body him up. Learn to set a screen. Maybe, go figure out how Ed Davis does it when he levels guys, as he did in the Raptors game.
Oh, Ed Davis.
And
is
the
a
Clippers
monster.
game.
Ed
But-
Davis is on my list for guys that this week I felt like, okay, we're going the right way here.
Yeah, but Leonard, I really feel as though that the Blazers want to trot him out there as some sort of trade bait. And Paul Allen sending him text messages at like 2 a.m. going, I understand that I pay you a lot of money, but I'm going to need you to do better so that I...
There was
Did
like
you sip a shot?
I looked over, and this is how I can tell I've had enough. And there was the thinnest little coat of just tiny something at the bottom of my
Come
glass.
on, people! And no, hold on.
For the record,
preface,
yeah, there was a lot left in that.
Preface
Hold
this.
on, let me take a look at your shot last year. Turn it at an angle.
I'll turn it upside down.
Like, Yeah, that's about how much I had left in mind.
No,
the tiniest angle.
Oh,
And I was like,
that doesn't even count.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
What is this, a Jello shot? Do I got
Listen, I wanted
and
that much.
no,
rum.
nobody
it was
can.
delicious.
No. Anyways.
Rub with the beer bag.
Anyway, so Leonard, I feel as though the Blazers really want to trot him out there as some sort of trade bait, and he is giving them nothing.
Nothing.
And it's really making me want to get start researching, so when can you release a player? I think he's past that. It's a 4-year deal. This is his second year. When the amnesty clause is
You
gone.
can release a player anytime, I think, and you take the loss.
Yeah, you're just liable for the contract.
Yeah.
I would.
How's that different from the amnesty clause, though?
No, the amnesty clause, you have to pay it, but it doesn't count toward your salary cap.
Okay. At this point in time, Paul Allen, please just put him on an Antarctic submarine. Have him be on an exploratory mission, and if that's how you want to justify the costs,
No.
go find the lost city of Atlantis, Myers. I have full faith in you.
Put him in a suit if you got to.
I was
gonna say, actually, you know what?
Let's wearing a suit.
That's
I
a
would make
$10
an
million a year suit you're putting him in.
Put him in a suit, and put him in a suit for 2 months, and just say, "Hey, Myers."
For anyone who picked that up, yes, that was a burp.
Yeah. Anyway. Hey, Myers. We're gonna let you out of the suit in 2 months.
Look at the camera.
We
I got a
gave
drum
you-
solo. I gotta do.
we gave you a shot. Dude, is it just me? Or, was it exactly that spiel when we did the pilot episode a few weeks ago? They're like, no, look, Myers looks like he's in the best place of his career. As said every year on Media Day, his entire career.
Hey guys, I met up with a coach. I went and did some specialty
I worked
workouts.
real hard.
I'm picking my spots. I'm working inside the offense. I
sure
honestly
you
feel as though that we could take Myers Leonard's Media Day this day and sub out his rookie audio, and it would be the
Not
exact
true.
same track.
Not true.
Okay, fine. Sophomore year audio?
Sophomore year onward. Every year, same thing. Rookie year, he was still a rookie. I'm really excited. I think I have a lot to contribute. I can do a lot for the game. Don't mind that I'm white. That type of thing.
And 7'1".
I didn't ever think that I would put Zach Collins above Myers Leonard, except for in my initial rankings. But in actuality, I thought Myers Leonard, his veteran experience being this many years into the
counted
league,
for nothing compared to Collins. this week.
correct.
Yeah.
I have a lot more hope for Collins and his NBA trajectory.
man.
Yeah.
Which, never mind that. That was not meant how it
For
looked.
those of you listening on audio, he tried to do the angle going from low to high, but it turned into a Hitler salute.
Yes. Weird.
I love Jews.
Anyways,
And I love juice.
So I love beer. So honestly, when it comes down to Myers and Zach Collins, this is the one time where I would probably say I would swap them from being 14 to 11. So I have to give Zach Collins some props. But
So
who
far,
stopped
so
this
good
week?
for Collins.
I will. I think we group cheers for that.
Group cheers.
Yeah.
for that.
Collins does not
Collins.
suck as bad as we thought. All right.
Collins,
Yes.
not the worst white guy.
Drink to that. Honestly, this week, Swan again stood out for me. Whitledge already touched base on it. I have his stats here. Suns versus Blazers, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 0 assists. Raptors versus Blazers, 6 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. And then Clippers,
And those are
5
numbers.
points, 4 rebounds, 0 assists.
And I think you guys have covered most of my guys, and we've already talked about a lot of that.
You got
But
surprise options
I
somewhere in here?
have no surprise options. Realistically, my guys that are coming out hot, Damon Nurk coming out looking like they know what they're doing. E.T. had moments, but that's about all he had for me, so I can't put him at high or low.
No. He's,
Myers obviously was the low for everybody, because why wouldn't he be? And then on the other
can
highs,
Myers hold the 15th roster spot?
Swanigan, Davis, Collins, all three of those have me excited in different ways for what they do.
I do agree with you. I never realized how much I missed Davis.
What I will say, though, to your credit, because you had him ranked way higher than I thought he should have been, Pat Connaughton showed up this season. I don't think he's good yet,
No.
but
And even my love for Pat, I don't fully agree with you on this statement.
he's shown up. Now, that said, last season I was ready to just be like, oh yeah, no, his NBA career will be over after his rookie contract ends.
His Taylor's going to get his comeuppance with all his suits that he has to wear.
I think he's shown, at least in this season, that he's going to be hanging out in New Jersey, waving a towel all season, and when he gets his moments, he's going to be a garbage time hero.
Everybody needs a Patty Mills.
And yeah, basically, I think he's going to earn his way to a second contract somewhere as a second or third string guy, and he'll probably have a 5 to 8 year career, which is really about 2 to 4 years longer than I thought it would be last year.
I do want to make
or
a little declaration here, if I could just talk to Pat here for a second. So Pat,
we got you.
Pat, just focus. I love you. You're a great player. You offer a lot. But for the love of God, if you leave the Blazers, do not go to the Spurs. I do not need you to be my next Patty Mills.
Or, Aldridge.
No. Aldridge, that was a star leaving to replace a Hall of Famer. Patty Mills, during his time as the Blazers.
Who did he replace?
Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
No, he didn't replace Tim Duncan.
He's
now replacing Tim Duncan.
He came in on Tim Duncan's swan song year. He knew Duncan was leaving, and he wanted to come in and
he
mesh
wanted
for
what?
a year.
He wanted some jewelry.
That's fine.
Get?
Anyways, you back off my piano solo. Pat Connaughton, please.
Sorry, go on.
Eagle flying.
Pat Connaughton, please do not go to the Spurs if you ever leave this team. I can't handle another 13th player on the roster.
Please, Pat, go to the Spurs.
No. For one, I'm going to lose everybody named Pat. I lost Patty Mills, who I loved. I'm going to lose Pat Connaughton.
How did you feel about Pat Patterson?
Did he go to the Spurs?
No.
Then I don't care. Anyways,
America.
I feel as though Chuck Norris should just drop kick across the screen right now.
Law and Order.
I feel like I should be playing air piano.
But no, that's how I feel. Pat, yes, I agree, he's doing good. But for the love of God, when they let you go next year, don't go to the Spurs. Just disappear in Milwaukee or something.
So hey, anything else we have to say on that, or did you have?
No, I'm actually good here. Actually, you know what? I've been holding my tongue for almost an hour here.
No, I gotta say it as the one who orchestrated it.
Gets to announce it. So I'll intro it. So next week we have an extremely special guest, which honestly
dreams come true.
It's somebody who has touched all of our Blazer fandom hearts.
And to this moment, honestly, cannot believe we actually have him on our show.
I am still freaking out.
You're welcome.
So, without further ado,
the man who sent the email
and parked myself outside his house and walked his dog for him in order to get it done.
Yeah,
so on our next show, we will have one Mr. David Deckard from BlazerTag.
Mother of God!
Just insert the applause here, folks.
Yes, I'll be having an applause track.
The Godfather of Portland.
I will say, so last year, me and Mr. Green over here found our way to Blazers Edge night, and one of our big things was wanting to meet Dave Deckard.
The great irony is we didn't even go together.
No, we did not. But I told you that I emailed Dave and told him we were massive fans and that we wanted to meet him and take a picture. We met him, took a picture. Awkward pause, insert picture.
There was definitely a Facebook profile picture for both of us of that.
Yes, I believe. And I also think that was the most awkward picture that Dave has ever took. He was in a suit jacket. He had a blazer tie on, but he also had a coat over it. Anyways, not to discredit Mr. Deckard.
And both Ryans were like this.
Yeah,
For those of you listening on audio, he was making no face.
Yeah, just to let you know, I brought extra underwear that night. I came prepared. But, so, Dave, obviously, you've heard us so far talk about our love of Blazers Edge and that's our homepage and it's how many screenshots and whatnot that we do on a daily basis.
Constantly.
That dictates our daily conversations about the Blazers.
Yeah,
Dave is a fantastic person in the Blazer world. Ben, when he left Blazers Edge, I wasn't sure that it would maintain.
I almost cried.
I did too. Side note, That is my next goal, is
Ben
a Mr.
Gulliver.
Ben Gulliver. If you are listening...
Ben Gulliver, please. Next to Dave Deckard.
I don't know what SI charges nowadays to get reporter interviews, but we may be able to start a GoFundMe.
We will link back to your website, and all 4 of the people who are watching this right now, all 4 of you,
Actually, 32
will go visit
as
that
of
website.
right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. And on iTunes and Google Play, we have 59 subscribers.
What?
We're building. We're growing.
Spotify coming soon, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, soon. Next week we'll have Spotify.
Anyway, I digress.
Unless something
So I took it upon myself without talking to these 2 individuals about reaching out to Dave Deckard. I think either we had just shot the pilot or we were just about to shoot the pilot.
We just shot it because you said he'd watched it.
Yes, that's
I
right.
don't know that I believe you, Dave, if you're watching this still. Dave, I don't believe that you've actually watched all the way through this. But if you have, love you.
Yes, if you're
humbled.
But yes, so no.
And we're not
yes,
drunk.
that is,
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
This is right. So I did send him the link to our pilot episode, and he watched it, and he said, "What you guys have is great." And yes, I can donate some of my time to coming on your show.
Wait, how many minutes do we get? How many minutes?
I mean, in case it falls short and it all goes off the rails, I don't want to put a number to it. I'm going to say more than 5 and leave
we'll
it at
get a
that.
segment out of it, and honestly, sorry, you guys have heard our segments tonight. We've heard our segments tonight. I mean, the shorter the better, really.
Honestly, we have some fantastic questions lined up for this.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm just throwing it out there. Mr. Green is probably going to take over the WWE references segment.
Oh, man.
I don't want to obviously give away what's going on next week, but just be sure to stay tuned because it's going to be very worth it.
Yes. So, Mr. Dave Deckard, we are humbled by your appearance on this show. We look forward to having you on, and we hope that our guests are ecstatic to see you on this medium.
I'm so excited.
I may just throw out right now that next week's shot of the week is just going to be the shot of Dave Deckard, and we call that good.
I don't know if you know this. There's some empty wall behind us. Should we get a picture of him, like, canvassed and hung up on our wall?
Dave, please send us a better picture than what we can currently find on Google.
Yes.
Because...
yeah, you got a point.
Yeah, we're doing what we can with what we got.
Yeah. We might also change religions to the house of the church, our basketball church.
Oh, did you guys not send in your application? Because I did about a week and a half ago. You're behind on the time.
I can start tithing to Dave's church.
Sorry, Isaac.
We all go to church together.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I mean, I can at least say that I haven't made it there so far this summer because, I'm sorry, summer, kids, things to do.
Also, now our subscribers are going to be dropping from 32 to probably 21.
So speaking of
at least we hit the
things that
minimum
are
drinking
happening
age
this week, the Kings game is happening right now.
Yes,
right this second. Actually, it's been an hour.
Does anybody have a score update?
I do not, but I have a feeling you'll figure it out.
I can't.
Because given that it is 8 o'clock right now, the game starts supposedly at 7:30.
No, 7 o'clock?
I thought it was 7:30.
Oh, and your Wi-Fi sucks.
And you know what, honestly, though?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, well, so
just for a live update for a game that all of you will have already seen by tomorrow.
It won't matter
we have the Blazers up on the Kings 43 to 33.
No shock.
I am so shocked. The Sacramento Mike Bibbies are down.
Oh, I do have a shocker to throw at you. Points leader. Can anybody
Wait,
guess? Can anybody guess?
Wait, hold on. He said shocker.
No.
Pat Connaughton.
Oh,
no, we actually screwed ourselves for beer bet.
I mean, the game's not
over
over yet.
Stats. No, quit looking at stats.
I'm sorry. I just want to brag. Evan Turner, thank you for being the current points leader.
Hey, Evan Turner, 1 game, 2.
Yeah, I know.
We can
zero turnovers, by the way. May I throw it out there?
So we've also got a Suns game where we hope to redeem that little black mark on our record.
Well, we play them by the time that we open the season with them. That'll be the third time that we see them.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we'll have the Suns nailed down by
the
time that we
our rotation will be
and you make it to the Suns game on the 28th.
Yes. Well, I think
again, one Mr. Green has not found his way in the Motor Center
Green
yet.
probably has a wedding to do or go to or who knows.
My life is very exciting.
Yeah, Green is give it up.
We have to pay him to be here just to let you guys know.
His salary is more than ours. Honestly, in regards to the beer bet this week, I think we're screwed as far as
So unless we just limit it to the last game of the week. The
international game?
The international game. Because I feel like that is the best blind game.
Side note, have you seen a professional sports franchise botch the international play bigger than the NBA?
Okay.
The NFL does it correctly. You send 2 teams over there. I don't care if it's the freaking Bucks.
This is where I feel like you're wrong.
And whatever. You send teams over to another country to play in front of you. I do not believe that you need to bring whatever freaking D-League, G-League level
disagree.
team. All
and
right.
here's my logic on this. Your logic is, look at our league, we're bringing it to you. My logic is, so back in the 80s, I'm going straight up to a pro wrestling analogy.
I'm gonna need a level of 80s to know if I was alive or not to understand
Well,
this.
let's just go late 80s, but it was better early 80s.
Yeah.
So let's just say there was like the Legion of Doom, the greatest tag team, really maybe of all time. And they would be in one territory for a while, and then they would mostly be in that territory. Then they would go to some other territory, and they would crush that territory's random other team that was up and coming. And then people would be like, wow, that Legion of Doom's great. And then those 2 teams would swap places, change to different territories. The Legion of Doom brought their own reputation into that new place and built their own reputation, and then ultimately leveled up that whole region around it. I've had a lot to drink. My explanation is not something very
so I kind of want to counter on how many times he said reputation in that
reputation.
I'm going to give a ticker.
But no, so what
I
every time he says reputation.
What I have to say,
generation.
I want to get this out. I'm going to.
That's what she said.
You'll have seen it by now. Every time Green says a reputation, I'm going to go ding ding ding. I'm going to have a ticker.
But
right here.
Here's where the
right
analogy
there.
goes. Here's where the analogy goes right.
Took him
Don't
a pilot and 3 episodes to figure out where to point.
I'm going to tell you guys. So here's where I'm going with this. So you get some random team from Israel, and they play the Portland Trailblazers. And honestly, I mean, as far as the NBA goes, most of the NBA feels like we're a C or D level team. They're wrong, but a lot of the press just treats us that way.
Yeah, power rank 17.
But a C level team plays against their best team.
Slightly
all of a sudden, their team, hey, bud, they were hanging up close with these guys for like half a quarter. And meanwhile, other teams go to China, other teams play in Europe, and now the NBA is still the best league in the world. But now all the other leagues are brought up in reputation, but all the other leagues also lift the NBA up further because now their league is aspirational to get there.
If that's the case, I think what the NBA needs to do is not host home games with international teams. They need to send the teams over to them. That is the one thing that...
In China? Hell yes, because there's a big audience there.
Well, what's Allen Iverson going to do after that then?
In Israel, yes, send those guys over here because, I mean, honestly, it's probably going to fill the back end of a YMCA in Israel.
Yeah.
YMJA. But whatever.
No, my theory is that's why the NFL does it correctly, is because you send 2 of your own teams over to another country, you get to showcase the league, get interest in it. Every other country does have a version of the NFL. Every other country also does have a version of the NBA and every other professional sports league. I'm going to leave soccer out of this argument because the USA falls about like, yay here to the rest of the world here.
We are not a soccer country yet.
But anyways,
we're a laser country.
Like, if you want to get if you want to get outside of China or Japan or the Asian market with the NBA, what you need to do is figure out a way to have 2 preseason games between like the Warriors and the Cavaliers, or like the Warriors and the Bulls, or any other well-known franchise in another country. Send them over there for that. And I'm sorry if that sounds like I'm discrediting the Blazers, but they do not have the household name of the current champs, the former champs, and the Bulls. Nobody will ever surpass the Bulls in name brand recognition.
The argument is that you're building up the other team by having the other team, their locals, play against the big guys. That's the argument. It's a reasonable one because the real goal is...
Middle Eastern fans do you think are going to be at the game on Friday?
That's not the point. The point is how many of them will watch on TV or how many of them will go, oh yeah, this is our team, see that and go, oh yeah, the NBA is the real place.
And turn it off after the first quarter when the score is like 78-16.
You heard it here first. 78-16 is
that
Ryan's
is not
beer bet.
That is not the beer bet. That is not the beer bet.
Actually, I think the beer bet most fitting for this is to bet on that game. And actually, I think we should bet on the score. The overall finishing score.
So total points scored by both teams.
Can we go for a point differential?
No, I think...
Let's go total points scored, both teams added together.
I like that. I like this. Okay. So I won this week. So do I go last?
Yes.
No, actually, I disagree. I would say you go first. And the logic behind that is that lets us play off of your bet.
Okay, I like this.
Don't look at my computer screen.
Nope, done. So I can do math in my head, no problem.
Hey,
even though
I had no looking up last time's score.
Yeah,
I am actually not, and
he's putting a calculator on his computer because he can't add 100.
No, I can. I just don't know what 1,000 plus 2 is.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that the overall finishing score will be 178 points.
I am going to go ahead. If you're 178, I'm going to go 190 even. 190.
Side note, Price is Right rules?
No, we're going to go just closest. With the exception
without going over?
Now, if it's equal between 2 points,
I'll say it's
equal between 2, whoever's lower.
All right. So you had what?
178.
190.
I'm going to take 211.
Okay.
Wow. That's like the
and I'm taking that for Blazers to run up the score. I think tail end of the bench players, everybody wants to prove themselves. That is actually their last game to do it.
True. So you're assuming it's going to be like 116 to 90 something.
Yeah.
I can't do math right now.
Yeah. So
basically, I'm giving them Clippers category.
Okay. So just to recap here, I Brandon Kennedy have 178.
I have 190.
Let me dictate this, and I take 211.
Okay. That's actually a pretty big spread. That's a huge spread.
That's what she said.
Yes. So, with that said...
the advantage because I don't know that it'll go that high. I actually would have gone lower if I'd have thought Ryan was going to take that high. But I think the advantage still goes to Kennedy on this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be...
But I don't know. I mean, that's 85 out of 170.
He took 178. That's 89 points apiece. That's why I busted out the calculator. I was looking for the split.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking the Blazers aren't going to play a lot of starters, a lot of minutes this game.
I honestly don't think they will either, but I think that the third, fourth stringers that are
is going to put you at 180, and now it's going to be right in this, smack dab between you and me.
Not really. That's 2 points for me. So that's still
I'm taking my surprise win. Somebody will owe me beer at one point in time.
Yeah, not this game. Not this week.
Oh man!
I think I'm actually going to win beer again for the third week running in this beer bet. So
Bobby Haifa.
If I personally have to give you beer again when the show ends, you're going to find some deflated tires out there. And you can get your beer.
A 6-pack from each of us so far.
Yeah, I'm actually doing really. I haven't bought beer for 2 shows.
And here's the question though: so if I win and I'm in the middle, I guess it's whoever is further away of the two of you has to buy the beer. Yeah, makes sense.
The further away, yeah, I like that.
So I'll buy the beer. He can pass it, and I can bequeath it to you, as he says, or gift.
Let's be queer. It's bequeath.
Let's be queer.
Not bequeath.
Gosh.
All right, gentlemen. It has been an hour and 10 minutes. I was going to say 110.
Yeah.
Shot of the week, guys. I don't know if I can do this all season.
Just drink less before the shows.
It was only 3 shots of liquor.
No,
don't pre-funk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this week on the BlazerTag podcast. As always, you can email us at blazertagpodcast@blazertagpodcast.com.
Yes, correct. Yes. Not gmail.com.
Not Gmail. I heard that last week.
Also, all comments and likes are totally accepted on our YouTube channel.
Subscribe to anything we're whoring out there at you. Follow us. Do whatever.
Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, and
all the things
to be
Spotify
and SoundCloud.
Or no, SoundCloud, yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, next time.
In the meantime, if any of you guys have a specific question that you want us to throw out to Dave Deckard on our next show, please comment and let us know. Email, whatever.
Get it out
Reach
there.
out to us and let us know what you are dying to know from Dave Deckard. And I'm just seeing how long they can hold their arms up.
And it is time. Till next time, gentlemen. Go Blazers.
Go Blazers.